Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Everis Talks Europe webinar on the Everis Awards 2020 edition. My name is Ana Pariente from the marketing team at Everis Benelux. Before we start the session, I'd like to share with you a few guidelines for the webinar. If you have any question, feel free to use the chat that's below the presenter screen. You may leave your question at any time, and we'll come back to them at the end of the presentation. Also, please leave us your name and your question so that we can directly address the answer to you. In addition, we would appreciate if you could leave us your rating for the presentation. You can do this at any time of the session. Also, if you'd like to participate in our future webinars, do not forget to subscribe to our channel. Finally, I'd like to remind you that this session is being recorded, so you can watch it at any time. Welcome everyone to this session, and I hope you find it super interesting. First, I'd like to introduce our three speakers today. Carla Alarcón has more than 14 years of experience in strategic consulting. She's carried out projects in the energy, telecommunications, education, and third sector industry. In 2007, she joined the business consulting team and later the innovation team of Everis. In 2014, she was named managing director of the Everis Foundation worldwide. Firstly, Carla, would you like to say hi so everyone knows?
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Anna.
Then we have Bert Couture. He's the founder and CEO of Geckomatics, the company that won last year's Everis Awards, Belgium. He has over 15 years of experience in the technology sector in various business roles. Well, Bert, would you also like to say hi? Finally, we have Marta Garayoya. She's a professional marketeer with extended experience on direct and digital marketing, as well as branding and communication. For the last 2 years, she's been in charge of establishing the marketing department in the Benelux region, and now she's in charge of all of the marketing activities in Belgium, Netherlands, Luxembourg, France, and Switzerland offices. Marta? Perfect. Well, we'll start with you, Marta. Could you tell us a bit about Everis in general, please?
Hello everyone and welcome. As maybe you know before, Everis is technology consulting. The main headquarters are in Spain. It's a Spanish company, but it is true that we're present already in 18 countries, and we have over 25,000 employees. In the Benelux region, we've been present already for 10 years. The Brussels office has been open for 10 years. And then we opened the Netherlands office based in Amsterdam officially in 2018, though we have been working in the Dutch market for quite some time already.
Great. Perfect summary. Carla, would you like to tell us a little bit about the Everis Foundation, please?
Oh, I am mute. You have the presentation, Anna?
Yes, we do.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Anna and Marta, for the invitation. For me, it's fantastic to be here today, supporting the internalization of the Everis Award to entrepreneurship. Well, when we talk about the Everis Foundation, we talk about the values. The values because the value for us are the driver for the companies to be successful. When we speak about the CSR, it's an expression, of course, of our corporate value, but the Everis Foundation, we think, is a step beyond. It is to drive the social change through the technology. The next, please. The Everis Award was born in 2001 with the commitment to encourage entrepreneurship. We also promote the innovation and foster the people's talent. These are pilots that's allowed to give up the society or get to receive from it, thanks to the voluntary commitment and the transformative capacity of the Everis in the countries in which we are present. The next, please. The next, thank you. We are present in 12 countries and 26 offices, always by the hand of Everis, with more than 1,600 Everis volunteers around the world and 500 outside volunteers. Sorry, but I don't know if, okay. You are past? Okay, perfect, sorry. Okay, when Anna told me only you have 1 minute to explain Everis Foundation activities is really hard for me. But well, I start to explain to you in a few minutes what our activities are. We boost entrepreneurship through our Everis Award, but in the time of Q&A, I will explain the detail of our awards. But the important thing is this award to reward the best entrepreneurial project based on technological innovation with social impact. The second one is we promote, Anna, please. Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay, it's better done. We promote the scientific technological vocation and the reduction of the digital gap in the early stage through our robotics and programming workshop. South children, in the sum of them in vulnerable situations, have participated in our workshop and we completing this training to training. Additionally, we are available MOOC, it's a massive course open online, completely free with all the documentation. We continue our activities. We mentor teenagers to discover and enhance their talent. We launched this project 7 years ago, and the results were really amazing. Because we're working with talent, promotion self-esteem in the teenagers' growth through individualized mentoring with girls with a lack a professional model is really fantastic. Well, we support too Everis employees with a social vocation entrepreneurial spirit because they cannot apply in our Everis Award. But the Everis Foundation also beat them through this project because in the spirit of Everis, there's always entrepreneurship. And we promote too the blockchain-based solutions to prevent and control violence against women, children, and elderly people. Considering the social needs, the technology has to be a help the social problem. And the Everis Foundation launched this initiative in collaboration with IDB, Inter-American Development Bank. And for finish, we impact on the reduction of the gap between the supply and demand of technological profile through our developer school. At the present, this gap has increased, obviously, with consequences of the COVID. And for this reason, the Everis Foundation wants to provide solution to train people in the short time in different programming languages, but always focuses on employability. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you so much, Carla. That was really interesting. We're going to continue with you, if that's okay. We're going to move now on to the perspective from your side of the Global Awards. So if you had to explain it as summary as you can, of course, what are the Everis Awards?
Well, our Everis Award was created in 2001, and the same year that the foundation was established to foster the talent, to promote the technological innovation, and of course, motivate entrepreneurs to think creativity about the solution that have a scalable and sustainable impact and leave a transformative mark on the society. Our awards are launched annually and recognize the best entrepreneurial project based on technological innovation. Project can participate in one of the following categories: biotech and health, industrial and industry, a new business model, and the digital economy. And must be at least at the prototyping phase and have not achieved financing more than 1 million euros in the last 3 years, or billed more than 500,000 euros in the last financial year. And our awards are international, of course, in Argentina, in Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Peru, Mexico, Portugal, Italy, Spain, Belgium, and for first year in Netherlands.
Nice. Sounds very, very tempting. And what type of project won last year's edition of the Everis Awards?
Well, let's see. Thanks to the rigorous selection and evaluation process and the reputation of our awards around the world, we have the opportunity to promote projects such as Navilens, the Everis Awards 2019, and company that's the revolutionary signalizing special assistant for for blind people in a public space, such as, for example, in Renfe in Spain and the subway of New York. Or another example, for example, is Celeros, which work on Hyperloop infrastructure with a system that minimizes complexity to achieve a scalable solution that allows long-distance travel at a speed of more than 1,000 kilometers per hour. Really, the result about Everis Award is amazing because up to date, the number, we received more than 7,000 projects since 2001, and 70% of them, this award projects are still active, are still alive. Regarding your question, Anna, the last years the winner was Washer Cup, a Spanish project too, with a revolutionary knee operation with anterior cruciate ligament ruptures by creating a soft connective tissue fixation system. Then you meet Juan last year in the Everis Talent Week. Really, it's an excellent project, and it's so difficult for me to explain to you in Spanish and English. Is so difficult. The award helped them, first of all, with things in the mentoring they receive from Ideals. Everis Group is a Everis Group company specializing in the technological entrepreneurship. Of course, the reputation, because the entrepreneurial ecosystem know that our process is very rigorous. Obviously, the money, of course, help, but it is important to the institutional support given to them from Everis. For some cases, Everis linked to the client of Everis or potential client for this entrepreneur. And we cannot forget that Everis have a big advantage because it can connect the European ecosystem, Latin American ecosystem, and of course, Asia ecosystem through the entity data partners.
Nice. And also, I'm sure that everyone's wondering right now. So, what do the participants do during the global awards? Like, what happens?
Okay, well, we have a lot of activities. The winner of the participating countries, in addition to the winning their local prize, don't forget that we have a local winner, and this local winner participate and compete in the international final in Madrid during the last week of November in the Everis Talent Week of the Everis Foundation. Where this entrepreneur participate in different activities, such as talk with unicorns, speed dating, meeting with diplomatic delegation of the countries, and of course the international final with a prize in cash, the 60,000 euros, not refundable, and mentoring by Ideals. In addition, we are working this year. This is good because it was previous to the COVID-19 in the organization of the first virtual Everis Talent Week for Entrepreneurs. It's a week where we bring together international startups of the Everis Award, or always related to our ecosystem, with Everis professional investors around the speed dating colloquium, specialized seminars, and conference on talent, entrepreneurship, and innovation, of course. In conclusion, it's an open space that makes available for all contests and networking opportunities for all the people in the Everis Talent Week. I think you are wondering what is about the jury. The jury is a big jury. There are personalities with international vision, of course, and knowledge, benchmark in the world of entrepreneurship, investor, incubator, academic people from the business world with expert knowledge in the field on the finalist project issues. This is very important to make up the jury of Awards Award. In conclusion, they for learn, they for share, to make networking, and of course to know who is the one who is the winner in this 2020 Everis Award.
Perfect. And now that you mentioned the whole situation with COVID, are there going to be any changes or on this particular process on this edition, or are there any changes to the Everis Awards in general?
It's a good question, Anna, because the COVID changed all. Due to the pandemic, for example, in the case of Spain, we had to give two more months for the presentation of the project. And for example, in the case of Latin America and in the case of other countries in Europe, had to delay the launch of the award because it was not possible in the really sanitary problem. You launch your awards, it was not correct. But the good thing is that all the country continue participating this year, who is a very good sign for us. Despite this, the COVID, it's important to that the result in the case in Spain has been fantastic. We closed in May the submitting project, and we received more project than expected and more project than the last year. The same thing happened with Portugal, which closed the registration period the last week. Of course, there will be changes in comparison with the last year. Nothing is the same, such as the final and the local awards may be done online. The Gecko in Spain, yes, of course, but all depend on the sanitary regulation. We understand that the Everis Talent Week of November will be held in Madrid presentially, but they still don't know what happened. We are preparing in two cases, in the online and the presentiality, the blended activity. But our award continue. Of course, another success has been the launch of the Everis Talent Week virtual. That really was a very good idea the last year, and this year the situation is very good for this kind of activities. For this thing is important to talk about the every day we are more aware that the technology was an option, but right now it's an obligation, and technological entrepreneurship will continue to have even more important for economic and social recovery. We need entrepreneur based on technological system with social impact. I think it's not in Spain or Belgium or Europe. All the world needs your solution, and for us, it's important to give all our knowledge for you in our process.
That's great to hear. Honestly, it's really nice that you're able to come here and join us and give us such an important firsthand perspective from the Everis Foundation.
Yeah, thank you.
Now going to a different kind of perspective, we have Marta. She's going to refer more to the Belgium and the Netherlands local awards. So let's start off by asking how the application process works for the Belgian and Dutch Everis Awards.
Thank you, Anna. Well, before going to that, I would also like to comment regarding the COVID situation that you mentioned, for instance, how it has affected, to say so, the awards here in the region, in Belgium and in the Netherlands. It is true that we were one of those offices that had to postpone a little bit the launch, and then also playing a little bit with the deadlines and so on, because we thought that it was not very sensitive and sensible on our side to launch the awards in the middle of the whole situation, because we were supposed to launch them. I think it was regarding our schedule plan in April. So that is one of the things. And also we were thinking, okay, should we cancel, because the incubators and the partners, maybe they have their minds somewhere else. But at the same time, we thought that it was especially important to keep them this year, because I think that these are not the easiest time for any company, but especially for some startups, it could be a bit hard. So supporting the local entrepreneurship arena and network, I think it's more important than ever. So that was my only remark. And then going back to your question, so regarding the application process, just being quite practical, it's super easy. So it only has 3 steps. So first one, you have to go to the awards website. So for the Belgium awards, it's everisawards.be, and then for the Netherlands awards, everisawards.nl. Easy. And then once over there, you have to scroll down a little bit, and then you go to the application part, and you just have to fill in a small questionnaire. The questionnaire is basically to collect your name, email, name of the project, so it's quite basic. And then you have to fill in a business model canvas, which most of the entrepreneurs are normally used to working with these kind of documents. And then you have to submit a video. It is true that some of the startups that applied, for example, last year, they had very professional videos already designed and so on. But some others, I remember last year that they were contacting me like, okay, we don't have time to record like a super cool video. We don't have budget. And I was like, okay, don't worry. At the end, what really matters is the idea behind the project and how you execute it and how it's, everything it's more or less built. So even if it's just with the phone on a selfie mode, explaining yourself the project that you're working with, at the end, that's what really matters. So I don't want for some entrepreneurs to think, okay, it is not worth it for me to submit my project because I don't have a high quality or super professional video. Don't worry about that. And those are the 3 steps. So it's super easy.
Perfect. It sounds easy and accessible and very doable until August 20th, so people have time.
Yeah.
And on the issue of the selection process, how does that work exactly?
Okay, so we have 2 different phases just from the local perspective. So first, all the projects that we receive, we have a group of internal evaluators from Everis. So because also for our employees, it is actually a very nice initiative. At the end, we're consultants, and consultants, the life of a consultant, sometimes it can be a bit dual with a lot of work, but it is true that sometimes engaging in different initiatives from the company, which are a bit, outside of their daily tasks. So we open the possibility to all the employees if they want to be involved in this. And then what we do is we make a multidisciplinary group of evaluators. So we have, for instance, one person from very, very tech background, another one more from the even marketing perspective to see if, the structure of the information and how the person on the video or through the materials that they present, if it's, how valid it is. So we make a group of evaluators, and then they go through all the projects, and there's a quite extensive within the platform following a certain criteria. I'm going to show the slide because it is true that maybe it's easier because I have it somewhere here. We have the slides already on this platform. Just here it is. Okay, so these are the 5 criteria. So the first one, if the problem solution fit, product market fit, the innovation degree, the growth potential, and the pitch itself. So then these are the criteria that will be used both from the internal evaluators and then for the jury session that will come afterwards. And there's, of course, like a very already studied procedure on how to rate them, the points, and so on. So first, we have that part done by the internal evaluators, and then we bring the 5 shortlisted candidates, so the best 5 projects out of that selection. They come to the office and they do the pitch in front of the jury, and I will explain a little bit later on who is part of this jury. It's from external partnering companies, and then following the jury members following the same criteria, they select the 3 finalists one. And then for the ceremony, these 3 projects are invited to come as well. They present again their projects, and then from that we have the winner. I made it look more difficult than it seems. I promise it's not so hard.
No, it seems nice. It seems like there's a lot of things involved, which is important because it makes it more dynamic and less dull too.
Yeah.
So now that you mentioned the jury session and the ceremony, what happens exactly during these sessions, and what happens after during the ceremony?
Okay, so for the jury session, as I mentioned, we invite the 5 shortlisted candidates. Then they have they make the presentation in front of the jury. Then after that, the jury goes to another room. They deliberate. They rate all of the projects based on the criteria, and then we have that same day. We give the opportunity to all the entrepreneurs to have speed dating session, to say so, with each member of the jury. So I think last year that was quite valuable, because it is true that at the end this jury is formed by very well-known companies, and especially very experienced people from those companies. I'm going to put this slide real quick with the approximate list of partners that we have in both countries, just for you to have an idea more or less. So for the Belgium one, so we've partnered with different incubators that you can see over here, and then also with different companies. So all these companies, Total, Agoria, Coca-Cola European Partners, Solvay, AXA, and ACFA, they're helping us as well, and they will be present in the jury session. From all these companies, we also have C-level people, and then specialized in these kind of projects. And then for the Netherlands, some of them, if you can see, they have ING and Allianz, where still it is not confirmed, but so we will have someone from Unilever as well, someone from Signify, KPN, and of course someone from Everis. So in this case, the fact that all these people with all their experience, all their knowledge, can give, even if it's 5 minutes, personalized feedback to one entrepreneur, I think that's quite valuable for them as well. So it is not just I go there, I present my thing, and I leave. They get also something out of it. And then they go to the ceremony. And in the ceremony, we invite more people. In this case, we will probably do the ceremony as it's open. We will probably do it online. And in this case, they can give visibility to their projects over there, and then we announce the winner.
Oh, so it's actually not just the winner wins. Everyone takes something back from it.
Yeah, the idea is that also we can promote as well, not just the winner, but we don't believe in the winner takes it all. So we always want to also give visibility to other startups that even if they don't win, and they started the process, and that we see that there's potential on them. It is true that Everis, we have a lot of the networks that we use, LinkedIn and so on. We have many followers and a lot of visibility also, as Carla mentioned, in different countries. So this, I think, is also really, really valuable for them.
Nice. I agree. Definitely valuable. So let's make this, let's narrow this down and explain it like the calendar, for example, with a nice structure to see, so everyone gets an idea of when the important deadlines are and everything. If you,
yeah,
okay.
That I have it in a different slide. So it is true that, as I mentioned at the beginning, we have decided to extend the deadline. So at the beginning, we were gonna the call for projects was going to end on the 31st of July, but then we've decided to expand it a little bit more until the 20th of August. So now, if you can see over here, the calendar is more or less the same for both countries. So we have here Belgium and the Netherlands. So, okay, during these months, we've been doing the communication, blah, blah, blah. These are the important ones. So we open on beginning of May, and then we're going to be scouting for projects until the 20th of August. Then from the 20th of August, we will be, the group of internal evaluators will be evaluating all the projects, and then we close the short list of 5 candidates for 1st of September. then, well, in this case, these are still pending to close as well with the jury members and so on. So this is approximate, but our idea is to have the jury session mid-September, and then the ceremony with the event during the month at the end of September. And then during the months of October and November, we will be giving the mentoring for the local winner.
Okay, great. Looks very clear.
And then I think also, just to give you an idea, because there was another graphic which was quite self-explanatory about the different stages. Because as we have this one, so we have the local part and then the global one. So then we receive all the projects, the 5 selected one. Then we have one session at the office just with the shortlisted ones for them to get to know each other a few days before, and then see the office so they get more comfortable with the environment. And then there's a small session with some of the incubators on how to pitch, but I'm sure all of them are quite, they know already how that goes. Then, as mentioned, the jury session. Then from that, we have the 3 finalist projects. Then we have the ceremony, and then the mentoring program for the winner. And then the winner goes to Madrid in November, and then he or she joins the other local winners. They go to the talent week during 1 week, as Carla mentioned before, and then they compete on the global awards.
Great. Well, Marta, thank you so much for this. It was really insightful. I imagine if anyone has any questions, we'll leave the email accessible at the end. So now let's move on to a more entrepreneurial perspective. So Bert, if you're ready. So what does Geckomatics do exactly?
Okay, thank you for unmuting me. So yeah, thank you for inviting me. So Geckomatics is a startup, and we specialize in artificial intelligence for mobile mapping. If you're not familiar with that term, it's like Google Street View, but the difference is that we add intelligence to our images, which means that our technology is able to understand what is visible. So typically, our customers are interested in making maps of things like traffic signs or trees or potholes or whatever, and our technology is very efficient in doing that. And we are now working on this for about 2 years. We have grown to 6 persons currently, but we'll have more job openings later this year, and we are selling in 5 countries.
Nice, very impressive. In 2 years, it's a good uphill. And how did you learn about the Everis Awards?
It's the same like for most people attending this session. Like I saw something somewhere on social media, and it was being promoted. I had never before heard of Everis. It's never heard of the company. It's of course a Spanish company, and I think in Spain most people will know it, but here it was a noble unknown. But anyway, I looked into it, and then I submitted a application, and the rest is history.
Nice. Yeah, I've seen their posts on Facebook a lot, so
Yeah.
I can imagine. And how did the Everis Awards help your business? Like, what were your takeaways from this?
Well, to be honest, I didn't have the highest of expectations, because I mean, if you're a startup, you're like bombarded with all kinds of events and competitions and awards and whatever. But to be honest, I actually got some value out of it. Of course, it's I mean, there's money to be won. Of course, that always helps. I mean, you're a startup, so money is probably very scarce. But on top of that, thanks to the sessions that actually brought some value, and then the fact that you get exposed to some international people and other startups, that actually really was helpful for us. So yeah, so that's definitely something that helped us. And actually also afterwards, like you get this, you get this badge, like we won we won an award, and it always helps in credibility, like so yeah, so definitely it definitely helped us. Yeah.
Nice. And in the application process, what do you think were the most challenging parts for yourself?
But to be honest, I don't particularly remember that it was challenging. Like
Good though.
I probably would have given up if it was challenging, because I have mostly other things to do than to fill out things. So I don't think it's really challenging. But you probably have to put some thinking behind it, like what are the best ways to express what we do, so that people will understand it. Because it's the same as always. People don't have a lot of time to try to understand what you do, so make your messages quite clear when you fill out the forms, and that's probably the best tip that I could give. But I don't remember any particular challenge or difficulties to do. And I think what Marta said about the video, I didn't even remember that we made a video. So it was definitely not made in a professional way. I probably took my cell phone and recorded myself for 2 minutes, and that was probably what I did. I don't even remember it, so it was definitely not challenging.
Nice. That's really good to hear. Um, so, how does an entrepreneur win the award? What would you say is the key to winning, if you could say?
Well, I think the minimum is to have a great idea and you're working on something great. But that's what we all do, right? That's why we are entrepreneurs. But one thing that I think you need to keep in mind is the fact that it's Everis Foundation, so it's a foundation. They have some societal goal, so it will probably win you some points if you can connect your business to something that's good for society or for the world. So if you have some link to sustainability, to some I don't know, social dimension of your business, that definitely helps. We're not non for profit businesses. We are real businesses, but you can still do some good, and that's of course something that a foundation likes to hear. So that's if that helps.
Nice. Very good tip. And so you go to an international competition when you win the local one. So since you were the winner, what was the international competition like? Did you like it?
Yeah, it was like they fly you into Madrid, so you spend a week there, and Madrid is already wonderful on itself, so it's definitely a plus. But the week is packed with activities, like you won't get too much rest, actually, and we had a lot of fun. Like there were 9 other startups there from Latin America, from Southern Europe, and we actually, it was like, of course it's a competition, but we all got along very well, and we had a lot of fun, and we didn't really think of each other as competitors. And yeah, so it was definitely a week that I had a lot of good memories about. Yeah.
Nice. That's good to hear. I hope that it's going to be able to happen in person, but if not, I'm sure that they'll pull off the online event too.
Oh, yeah, I hope so. That you find a good virtual alternative.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. Well, that's that's basically it. Unless, Marta, maybe, or Carla wants to add anything?
In my case, I just want to reinforce few messages on how to apply and so on, and what is the criteria. I know that Carla mentioned it before, but just to go a bit on that. Okay. It's because we get asked this question a lot on what is the minimum requirement. So, as mentioned, for Belgium and the Netherlands, we will only participate on the new business models in the digital economy, and then we were looking for projects in prototype phase, near to market launch, so not scale-ups, and the project shouldn't have accumulated more than 1 million euros in investment in the last 3 years, or earn more than €500,000 in the last fiscal year. High impact projects, and as Bert mentioned, is also nice. It is not a must have, but if there's some social impact behind that, it's actually quite valuable as well. So that was my only remark, and then also just encourage not just yourself, but if you know of any other company that you think could be interested in applying and that fit more or less the criteria, we're more than happy to receive the projects.
Nice. That's good to know. A little reminder. So I think we have time for a really nice video provided by Carla. So I'm going to share my screen and present to you the video.
It's a video with the final of Everis Awards International and some scene about Bert and another awards competition, competitors of a lot of countries, and the big events too in Madrid. I don't know if this year the big event will be online, so sorry. But well, obviously it's important to continue boosting the entrepreneurship independent of the COVID or not online or presential. I think entrepreneur, the people need you. Please present your project. Please continue impacting the society where you are business models with your project.
Yeah, I completely agree. Okay.
I think we're having some problem with the audio.
Los premios Everis en esta 50ª edición es Juana Basté del proyecto. Muy destinado a seguir potenciando esa innovación. Muchas gracias.
Great.
Sorry about the audio. I think as Anna was sharing the screen, she was not aware of how bad the audio was. I think some of us were not on mute or something happened, but the audio was terrible. It sounded like some ghost or something. So we really apologize for that. But yeah, that was even if you couldn't hear it, we will share it on our social media so you can have a closer look at it, because it actually explains a little bit, and you can see more or less the atmosphere of the whole global part of the awards. With all the, we could see Bert on the video with the rest of the local winners, and the ceremony, which is held at the casino in a beautiful and emblematic building in Madrid. But yeah, sorry about the audio problem, everyone.
Wow, so sorry. Well, the video was so good that we had to show a little bit, but we'll leave we'll leave the video somewhere so we can all access it. So
Sorry, just as a remark, because we're getting also, before we go into the questions that we might be receiving, we wanted to stress of course, that the awards are fully run in English, both in Belgium and the Netherlands, but also the global part of it. Yeah, so any startup can compete. So it is not, we don't have the Flemish Dutch friends thing, but we just put everything in English. Yeah.
Perfect, even more accessible too. So we got a couple of questions from the audience, so we can move on to those. Marta, this one's from you, from Mark. He's asking that, he was asking in what language it was going to be run in, so it's good that you clarified that. Then we have another question from Katie, and she says, "Dear all, thanks, nice presentation, thank you for your time. Indeed, COVID has disrupted many founders and entrepreneurs, including herself. As a founder of a business, team building and talent outsourcing is my core strength to promote my ideas." Her question is as follows: can startups without working MVP but prototypes outsource resources from Everis employees to found a team?
Okay, should I go with that one first?
Yeah, I think
okay.
so.
Before we go to the next. Okay, so can I start? Well, in this case, it is true that the Everis employees, in this case, they cannot get involved in with the projects per se. At the end, we don't want to be biased when making the selection, even this first internal evaluation. So it is true that the Everis employees cannot get personally involved in this project. Actually, also, if you go to the terms and conditions on the website that you can download, we're not able to apply for the awards any Everis employees or first, how is it called, like the first hand related, so not my partner, my parent, or my son.
No relatives, no one like this.
Yeah, no really close relatives.
Until third degree.
Yeah, that was it. I knew that it was something. Okay. Yeah.
Great. And she continues asking, so does Everis promote partnerships with award participants?
Okay. Partnership with award participant. In this case, it is true that the partnership, it wouldn't be a partnership straight from Everis to the company, but it is true that, for example, if we see one project and that it could be interesting as well for Everis. I think last year one of the projects, it was shortlisted, but it was of course not the winner, and they had a solution for expatriates or something like that. So for Everis Brussels, it was interesting. So after the competition and everything, we had a meeting with him, and it was like, okay, as we have many expats working in the office and so on. So it is not related to the awards per se, but for example, if we see that some of the services that the startup provides could be interesting for Everis as a company in this case, yeah, why not? Or even to put them in touch with other companies. So if we have one partnering company or one client or something, and we know that they have a problem regarding one topic, and then one of the startups that we've met can solve the problem for us, it's, it doesn't take nothing just to put them in touch. That's actually one of the main things that we can provide. The networking opportunities, I think it's one of the core values.
Nice. I think maybe Carla can take this next question. She's asking, would the awards be online?
Questions?
She's asking, would the awards be online?
The award is online.
Yeah.
I don't. Yes, it's completely online. You can apply through the platform, and the semi-final or final, I think through the COVID will be online, of course. And we are thinking, we are waiting. What is the sanitary regulation about the every Silent Week in November in Madrid, if is permitted? But right now, all is developed considering an online scenario.
Great. And maybe this one could be for Marta too. So is this awards focused on startups in a specific stage? They're mentioning that they're currently growing and scaling rather than starting up.
Well, in this case, as I mentioned, it is true that it is more for the startup phase rather than the scale up. So I think I mentioned before more or less the criteria. So they shouldn't have accumulated more than, what was it? Carla, do you know it by heart? I think it was more than 1 million euros in investment in the last 3 years, or half a million in the last year. Yeah. So
yes,
those are more or less the criteria.
Yeah, and of course, at least in prototype phase, because for example, what happened with the project is not is the prototype phase. The problem is that all the other companies, all the other startups is in the market selling their services, or very high advanced in the prototype phase.
Perfect. And this could be, well, for any three of you actually. So Bert, maybe you'd like to take it. Actually, no, let's change to Marta, actually. I'm gonna give it to you. Sorry, I read it better. So is this about their entire product range, what they do as a company, or does it have to be a specific product? like one project?
I mean, it is not based on a project per se. So, for example, if you have the startup gives a service, and then with that, within that service, you have different products, then you will have to present this as a service, the whole thing, and the different solutions. So it depends on the specifics of the project per se. I don't know, in this case, Carla, maybe you have more experience in this.
You are right, Marta, because some companies present different products. For example, in the case of Naviles, is designed for blind people. Is belong to the other company. You can apply with a specific product. It's not only your company one product. No, you can apply. Always is a totally different product. Okay, so if you have two projects, depending of the same company, you can apply for 2 times.
You too, if that's okay. This is Quentin. He's from OneFame, and he's asking how important the proof of concept or traction and achieved revenue is.
Yeah, classic.
Yeah.
In this case, it's not so important the achieved revenue, but the idea behind. So it is more or less what I mentioned about the video. It is not so much about how dazzling and how buoyant is the solution, o sea, the marketing per se, or the video, or the revenue that you got, but actually how good the idea is. I don't know if you agree with me, Carla.
Yes, of course, and how innovative the idea is. This is fundamental. If you have a prototype, if you have an innovative idea, if you have a very good prepare the canvas, and your video is you need to explain so much, so good your project, and the value proposition is important for the jury. Okay.
Great. Well, I think for now, these are all of the questions. I'd just like to remind everyone that this session is recorded and you can revisit it at any time, and also share it around for anyone that could be interested. We'd really appreciate if you could give us a rating for the webinar. We believe your feedback is super valuable. And I would also like to thank Marta, Carla, and Birds for the presentation. It's really nice that you could come here today and take your time for this. And finally, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for the upcoming webinars. And I'd just like to remind you that the application website is evrisawards.be for Belgium and evrisawards.nl for the Netherlands. So go check it out. The terms and conditions are on the website. And any other questions, please let us know.
And just as a small thing, the deadline for the application now is 20th of August. Okay, so you still have some time, but the sooner the better. And thank you.
Thank you very much for all.
Great. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Yep. Bye-bye.